You know, I keep talking about sustainability. I keep talking about energy independence and renewable sources of energy as being important for three obvious and major reasons. One, certainly it creates jobs and therefore is good for the economy. Two, it's obviously good for the environment if it's renewable and sustainable and not reliant on fossil fuels particularly that are limited in terms of how long they're going to be on this planet. And thirdly, it's a national security issue to the extent that we're not dependent on foreign sources of energy. We create more security for ourselves as a nation. But actually making government more efficient when it comes to energy is really good for taxpayers. Ultimately, the taxpayers end up saving the money. State agencies don't create money. They spend money. And they don't have money except money from taxpayers. And every time a state agency can save money, they are in effect saving money for the taxpayers. And we have a number of state agencies, our Energy Office, Building Services, DIS, the Governor's Office, Secretary of State's Office, a number of agencies collaborating together to try to ensure that we do the right things going forward with regard to conservation and efficiency. And to that end, we have a couple of major things to talk about here today. First of all, we're setting up a revolving loan fund for our state agencies. We have dedicated $3 million from our current General Improvement Fund account to help seed that, and we believe we will receive $12 million in stimulus dollars from the federal government specifically for these purposes, as that's part of what the stimulus suggestions have been. This will set up a pot of money, a pool of money of $15 million that can be drawn on by agencies on a competitive basis. They have to submit plans, and designed specifically to reduce their consumption of energy and to save taxpayers' dollars. They will then repay that revolving loan fund, repay the amounts of monies that they've expended for those capital upgrades through the energy savings generated by their project. This obviously then would create an ongoing fund, since it's a revolving loan fund, going forward as new technologies emerge and as time goes on to try to continue this effort, presumably indefinitely. The second area that we're actually talking about here today is to cause through an executive order all our agencies that certainly the governor has any jurisdiction over. That excludes constitutional officers, obviously, in the Highway Department and the Game and Fish Commission, although we would encourage them to do the same, to submit for review plans on how they propose to save energy, and there are a number of things that can be done. And some of our experts can talk more specifically about it, but just little bitty things that obviously people don't really think about all the time, but Claire can tell you if you just default your computers at night, the savings when it's across state government can be astronomical in terms of the amount of money that we end up saving. I did want to specifically acknowledge Wal-Mart. They are here, and you're going to hear from them in just a second. But Wal-Mart, together with the National Governors Association, some time back, offered to and initiated a program across the country to audit certain state government buildings and facilities, and to do that audit in an energy audit format so as to provide the kind of data and the kind of background necessary for, I think, the point to be made on what could be done, how it could be done, and how savings could be achieved. We have today received that audit. It will be available for you, and you can hear more specifically about it in just a moment. But the Clinton Foundation was also extremely important in this, and you recall that a few months ago, President Clinton and I talked about the cooperation and the agreement that we'd entered into together. So all of this kind of dovetails and fits. We can save taxpayers dollars going forward. We can be more energy efficient and therefore conserve our use and consumption of energy. We can do our part to try to lessen our dependence on sources of energy that come from places that we might not really need to be getting the energy from. And we can do it all in a way that I think causes state government to be out front doing it and showing the world that it can be done, and hopefully it can spread into the private sector and more folks can do it.